looking back on the last 10 years, where we've grown the most is probably having greater confidence in who we are, like as a church, and just who God has called us to be, how to live out the Great Commission and in the area that we're at, and really just who we're not too. You know, and I remember the early days, it was like, are we gonna be like College Park 2.0? Are we gonna be something different? And just having that sense of identity as a church, and now there's not only clarity, but there's a confidence in what God has done. Those first few weeks, you know, when we launched into Fall Creek Intermediate School, we didn't know what the Lord was doing as we were just, you know, getting there early and staying late. But the camaraderie that we had, where everybody had to be all in order just to make Sunday morning work.
Just in the trenches together.
Yeah. It was just, we're all in just to pull off Sunday.
We were so encouraged early on about all the young couples with little children and serving in children's church from the get-go, which I love the kids. It was just a joy and a blessing, and it was such an encouragement that many young people wanted to come to a church where God's word was being preached so solidly and confrontationally and you know, and convicting.
There were just a few of us there in the room, and Chris said how much he loved and appreciated the older people, that as a high school student, he had had an older mentor in his life, and that, you know, we were important, and that he wanted us to have be involved in the church. And just seeing his heart, that was so encouraging.
I heard an illustration by Mark Dever. He was talking about the more senior population of a church acts as kind of the tall trees in a forest, shading over the young growth and protecting it, and giving wisdom and counsel, and even just unspoken examples, right? Not even having to say a word.
Backyard Bible Club, I feel like that has to be brought up as like a favorite memory for us. We've gotten to host several years, and just being able to give a kid his first Bible, that's like, I almost tear up every time I talk about it. I think of too, just how the different ministries have morphed with, like specifically women's ministry. The signups came out, it's 14 Bible studies for women's at least.
You talk about both women's and men's ministry, and they all started small, and they all started in people's homes. And I think even too with like youth group, you guys would do the planning in our living room. And now it's grown. You see the women's ministry, it's a lot of Bible studies. You have the women's mingle, you have men's ministries, you have men's Bible studies. And so it is really neat to see not just how they started, but where God has taken them.
This is a safe place. It's like a haven. And everyone cares about everyone. There's just a caring love that permeates the entire body.
Some of the things that I loved about College Park that we did was the Christmas offering there. And so bringing that in and seeing how that's still important to Pennington Park, I love that. Like that's something that really means a lot to me.
God made it so clear when we were ready to have the peace that he wanted us to have, and here we are. And I think about that a lot, and I think God is so good.
This is a church that was sent and is also sending. And so I've loved seeing the ways that we've leaned into Fishers, that we feel called particularly to this community, to this area.
Yeah, I think for me, my hope, over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years is faithfulness. Like that's the word that keeps coming to my mind. And I just keep thinking about Matthew 25 and the parable of the talents. And, I so desperately want God to speak to us when we stand before him as individuals, but also perhaps as a church, and for him to say, well done, good and faithful church. Like you guys were faithful in just preaching the word, letting the word do the work, and helping people know Jesus and make him known.